Aloha kākou pau. This is Kaiopua 5 again, coming to you from the Kiwane Foundation with another segment of Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's future. Today we're very happy to be here with Clifford Naiole, the cultural consultant to the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, the major force behind the celebration of the arts, which is where we are. We've had several segments and more to come. And Clifford, we'd kind of like to say mahalo nui for taking a few minutes out. You're a busy, busy man, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Well, it's all about sharing, my friend.
Yeah, and you've been sharing yourself like 24 hours a day on these things around the clock. I tell you, it's just the amount of energy, stamina is really something that it takes to do these kind of things.
Well, you know, I don't think it differs from a kumuhula with her passion or his passion, or a drum maker or a canoe carver. It's the passion that they have. You know, they like what you do and they put the time into it.
I guess you're right, and it's important that you say that because our focus is kuleana, really. I mean, it's interviewing and talking with people who have found their kuleana, who are working at it really hard, and who are helping others to find theirs. And our objective is to encourage our viewers at home to say, hey, boy, he's doing some great things, maybe I can do something, because there are a lot of Hawaiians out there who kind of stumbling around with nothing to hang on to, you know, and that's what we're trying to motivate.
Absolutely. I think what they got to do is maybe sit up straight in their chair and say, where's my backbone?
Yeah.
And understand that that's their mo. Comes from whence it came, is to understand that. Eola Kamana, bring that mo to life, bring that spirit to life. And, you know, a Hawaiian can create a ulumaika or go buy a radio-controlled car from Radio Shack. Which one is going to last a million years? I guarantee you the ulumaika is going to last a million years.
No batteries in the ulumaika.
No batteries in ulumaika, but quest for excellence, it took time, it took patience and passion, so it's complete.
Quest for excellence, that's a good term. I mean, that's spoken with so many people here, you know, some of the folks that you've been inviting back again and again, you know, the ones who kind of the outstanding type A, accomplished type people in tourism industry and in the Hawaiian culture, the Hawaiian arts, and that's really what it takes is the focus and the discipline and that quest for excellence. You know, do the best that can possibly be done, and then look for other ways to improve on it.
Absolutely, create bridges at the same time where foundations on both ends are strong. Where a place, you know, where Kanaka Maoli can feel proud and comfortable about who they were, who they are, who they're going to be. Tell our stories so that the world recognizes the uniqueness of the Hawaiian person and understand that, hey, Hawaiians are real people. We're not from Disneyland, nor are we just lay makers and you know, hula dancers, architects, scientists, and passionate navigators, fun people. Yeah, we're real.
Not to take anything away from hula, I mean, you have a background in the cultural practice, hula, oli, right?
Correct. I was very fortunate to have my son go into the Hawaiian Emergence programs at the age of 3. And
which means you went into the Hawaiian Emergence.
Well, yeah, when he came home one day and asked me to help him with his homework in Olelo, Hawaii, and I looked at it and I went, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. So I started to go into the world of hula with Charles Ka'uku, and Keli Tau'a as my kumu. And then from hula came the olelo, from the olelo came the oli, from the oli came the spirituality, and the doors just busted wide open. So I'm hoping that others, no matter how old you are, once you find that springboard to being Hawaiian again, the rest is history.
Never too late.
Never too late. Never too late.
Fantastic. How long have you been in the tourism industry?
Well, I won't tell you how old I am now, but I can honestly say that it's been about 35 years being in the industry. Of course, the first jobs were in the entry level of mopping up the floors or vacuuming the elevators. But, you know, I just kind of put myself to task and stuck my neck out a little bit here and here and here. And I was fortunate enough to make gains and be where I am today, to be able to blend the hospitality industry with the love for hospitality. So it's worked out well.
You say stick your neck out. What is that? You take a little chance or what?
Well, you know, for instance, when I was hired here at this hotel, I was a PBX operator. Good morning, this is a 5 a.m. wake-up call. But with my involvement in hula, I would see things that were politically, culturally incorrect that made my hair stand on end.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to stick my neck out and go into the GM's office and say, hey, you know, this is not right. This is not right.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually he says, well, hey, you know what? We need to make sure things are right all the time, as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So the position was opened up and said, would you take it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Take that little step. Well, you got to be kind of a diplomat too, I would expect, huh?
Yes, it's about creating bridges and understanding. You know, I gotta look into that scope of the visitor and try to imagine what they've been taught about us,
Mm-hmm.
and try to pry that out.
Yeah.
And hopefully, at the end of the day, when they leave these islands, that the tear that they have is a tear of awareness and love, rather than because of too much sunburn or too many Mai Tais.
Yeah.
You know, I want them to love, but they gotta understand us first.
Yeah.
At the same time, we have to be able to open up to make them understand us.
Mm-hmm. Is this the first property that you worked for?
This is the first Ritz-Carlton property that I've worked for, but no, I've worked in a few hotels.
Before?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
Good. But this one has been kind of a long stay, huh?
This is the most. I've been here for 15 years, and at this point in time, I don't see myself retiring, although a little bit more fishing and diving would work out well for me.
Yeah, a little bit of free time, a little
Absolutely,
relaxation.
Absolutely.
Well, 15 years, my goodness, that means that, because that's the age of the celebration of the arts,
Correct,
right?
correct.
So, I mean, close to the time you started here, you folks got that celebration going, is that correct?
Exactly. And the Celebration of the Arts was a combination brainchild of Henry Kaponoka'ihui. And the original title of the Celebration of the Arts was The Rainbow Within You. And Henry is one who thinks in terms of rainbows. There's always a blend. There's always something that's beautiful about this blending. So we tried to create common ground through art and culture and music and song and dance. And that was good.
Yeah.
And now we've taken it another level to involve more political topics as well.
Yeah, that's my understanding, is that there's been some real kind of political issues to deal with, and I guess a lot of the Kanaka and the tourism industry are kind of holding the line and moving forward, kind of pushing the envelope in that direction.
Well, what a concept. Hawaiians are becoming more responsible for what we believe in,
isn't
in
that
the hospitality
yeah.
industry, huh?
Yeah.
Now we're saying, hey, wait, let's kind of do it our way a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Let us be responsible for what we believe in, what is important to our DNA connection, and then you watch and understand that we will take it higher. You got to let us be real first.
Yeah, I earlier this morning, you know, at the there was a panel discussion. I don't know if you made that one or not. With Doug Chang was there,
correct.
And, you know, folks from the different hotels, including your own general manager, Javier.
Correct.
What is the last name?
Javier Cano.
Cano, yeah. And I think it was really well done. There was a lot of good interaction, some little different perspectives, but everybody, you know, looking for the same and the best possible product and interaction with the community and the culture and the best. And the nice thing to hear was that, you know, there are also expectations of the tourists.
Yes.
Of the visitors.
Absolutely, yes.
To put it a little more politely, and I think visitors are what we much would rather have than tourists.
Sure.
I know, I forget who it was that said in there that the number one reason for travelers to go someplace is to explore another culture, for education. And I think that's all we'd like to see, everyone being involved in that. There's some great topics in there.
I think exploring is a good word. However, changing the landscape of it creates another problem.
What do you mean?
Well, for instance, our heiau, our rocks, altars, etc. I have seen people take rocks from our heiau to create their own heiau.
Yeah.
You know, I have seen just different forms of they trying so hard to belong to the culture that they're in actuality becoming harmful to our culture.
Right.
But then again, it's our responsibility to educate them.
Yeah.
The host needs to be.
Yeah. Where are the limitations? Huh?
Yes,
where
absolutely.
the limitation, but base it with education.
It's
heightened
all
awareness,
about awareness
Yeah.
and inspiration.
Well, bringing up sacred places, as a matter of fact, I mean, the history of the Ritz-Carlton going back to the original construction, and the issues that came up regarding the iwi, the kupuna, who are on this site. Can you provide a little background on that for those who are watching who don't have
Sure,
an awareness of that?
The original landscape of Kapalua is Honokahua.
Mm-hmm.
And Honokahua was a perfect place for life. The waters flowed from the top of the mountains to the ocean, into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Our fish were there, our land was fertile, and so our people thrived here.
Mm-hmm.
A good place to live is also a good place to die.
Mm-hmm.
So the sand dunes here were their Onihanau. It was a place where they were born, it was a place where they were died. They returned their mana to the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, sand is oceanfront.
Yeah.
Oceanfront now comes with a different reality than sacred place.
Right.
And there was a collision.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd been happening for many years. But at the time of the emergence of the Ritz-Carlton, the Hawaiian Emergence was also coming up
The
as
Renaissance,
well.
huh?
The Renaissance,
Yeah.
the blossoming flower.
Right.
And at that point, Hawaiian said, "Pau,
Mm-hmm.
enough is enough.
Mhm.
Let us be responsible for our iwi." And it was a good thing. When the iwi came up, and their greatest battle was in death rather than life. They
Yeah.
became the martyrs now,
Yeah.
ground zero.
Mhm.
And thankfully, negotiations were done. The Ritz-Carlton moved here, up on the hillside.
Back away. Huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
And the preservation site was set. We are now the stewards there. But what it did is it created benchmarks for the rest of Hawaii to follow
Mm-hmm.
in perpetuity.
Mm-hmm.
Burial councils, new legislation as far as development is concerned, archaeological methods.
Yeah.
So now it's become good.
Kind of set the tone.
It sets the tone,
This is
yes.
a major thing back in the 80s, huh?
1984, I believe, with the
Mhm.
hard work of Charles Maxwell, Les Kulaloyo, Dana Launi Hall, Pua, Kanahele. I mean, these people came in and were passionate about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It says, enough is enough is
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
And from that point on, we've provided sanctity and dignity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Actually, it's a beautiful area, and we have some footage that I hope we can drop in and show, because we went down and visited. Well, every time we come here, we go down there.
Great.
That's,
Yes, it's one of the most beautiful sites from the inside and the outside. It's where I go to detox and say a prayer. It's also a place where I take our new managers for the job interview.
yeah,
And I say to them, your words are written on the wind.
yeah.
So when they ask you these questions, make sure it comes from the heart.
Well, it's one of those places for me. There's a lot of places around Hawaii where I can go and you just feel the mana coming up, and I mean it can be very emotional
And
down there.
it's not only the Hawaiian that feels it on that
Mhm.
site, and of course intrusion is not allowed on the site by anyone other than Native Hawaiian.
Right.
But many of them, Napoe, Amalika, or travelers from the rest of the world
Right.
will walk by there and they'll come back to me and say, "Wow, I
They
feel
felt it.
something."
They got
over
it.
there."
Yeah.
And I always say to them, it's not necessarily my kupuna,
Yeah.
it's your kupuna.
Yeah.
It's their elders that will be calling to their backbone and say,
Mhm.
think about things.
Making the connection.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. It's a very powerful site. I know the folks from the Kauai contingent
Yes.
with Auntie Stella Burgess and Saber Kalka went
Yes.
down, took the group down. They have quite a large group here this year, and took them all down. And I know they were all, moved by the experience.
And that's great. That's a great testament to how the hospitality industry has grown. Here's a contingent from Komoko Mana Kalanipo, Mano Kalanipo, coming to Maui,
Mhm.
taking Ho'okupu to here on this island of Pi'ilani,
Mhm.
in their kiheis, going to a 5-diamond hotel to listen to Hawaiian things.
Yeah, something, huh?
Quite a concept.
Well, I understand. When there was an entry procession, and I hope we can drop in some footage on that, on the opening ceremony coming in. And we had a beautiful young Hawaiian lady from Kauai who gave the ole, the first ole.
Yes.
She never did the second, but she stood in front and gave a beautiful ole. And Hokulani's reply was interesting because she made the connection between the Maui genealogies and the Kauai genealogies, and she was essentially saying "Welcome home to Maui."
Yes.
So I thought that was quite interesting.
And
that
in honor of her talents, I just spoke with Hokulani, and she commented that chanter did it very well, and it was very well written, and she really appreciated that.
Yeah,
so here's another step of Kanaka Maoli, writing their own things.
Another generation.
Absolutely.
Another generation.
The springboard.
She's I guess she's a 96 Kamehameha Schools graduate. We had a chance to visit with her and get to know her. And of course, Sabre works with them quite a bit all the time over there. So that was.
And if I can say
great.
one thing, for those of you from afar, chant is not entertainment. Chant is prayer. It should be not caught on camera sometimes because it belongs to the gods, but respect what we have to offer as far as chant is concerned.
Well, that's part of all the education that goes with not only presenting a good visitor experience, but an educational experience.
Yeah, and these chants are humbling chants. They speak of your moku how. They speak of from whence he came.
They're very revealing.
And then they ask permission as to come into one's home to learn. And it's up to the host to say, yes, come, eat until your stomach is awry. Just enjoy, but learn and share.
Yeah. And be sure and observe our guidelines.
Yes.
If you go down to the Hivi Kupuna, there's a place beyond which you don't go, and just appreciate that.
Yes, you're correct. There are times when it is you just cannot be involved. No, it's not a matter of us not having aloha. It's a matter of our way, and we respect their way as well. So it is time for the world to understand that Hawaiians have practices that have been passed down, and sometimes it involves us, pure and simple, not everyone. And it's not meant to be exclusive, it's meant to be Kanaka Maoli, our DNA connection. You
have obviously the on-site here on the property, you have huge opportunities, huge responsibilities. But you still do traveling? You do some traveling too, right?
Yes, I do. I've got a lot of traveling coming up. And what we do is we will go onto the road and we will take a sales and marketing team who will talk about the physical the bricks and mortar of this place.
Yeah, the physical plant. Huh?
But then I come in and say, it's not only about that. We are a 5-diamond hotel immersed in a 5-diamond culture. My job is to make everyone understand that when you come into this hotel, it goes much deeper than the feathers in your pillow and your mat. It goes to the ground, to the sky, to the heart, to the soul. That's my responsibility. You say, if you're gonna bring people here, let them know that it's a whole. There's tangible and intangible. And we try to find that balance.
Not just the sun, sand, and sea. Huh?
No.
Yeah, much more to that.
Those days are gone.
Yeah. You work not only with the visitors and with the programs, but internally there's a lot of work that you have to do continually with your staff here, right? Every time somebody new comes on board.
Correct. New hires have 3 days to come to my Sense of Place classes, where we show that wonderful film by Elizabeth Lindsay called Then There Were None. And from there we talk about the Aupua system and how everyone is valuable to the success of the whole. And if they don't come to my classes, they don't go on a payroll. So we teach them one Hawaiian word, which is aloha, goodbye.
Good luck elsewhere. Huh?
Yes, and it's about being responsible for where you are and who you represent.
I wouldn't imagine, though, that you would have too many people who would refuse, huh? to
I've never come across that yet.
Yeah.
We have some who may take a little long to understand it.
Yeah,
but
well,
eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that everyone that we've met here has just been very gracious,
Great.
very warm, very welcoming, and I mean, I'm talking about the blue-eyed blonde hair from who knows where, but I mean, they're still emanating, that Aloha spirit.
Yes.
And so it's working.
It is working, and it provides spirit to the life of Hawaii, and it provides a sharing with our guests that no matter, somebody can be saying aloha with an accent from South America, but it's still aloha.
Yeah, I think if they get it, they get it. It doesn't matter where they come from.
Yes.
One of the great things about this celebration of the arts annual event, then I've been happy to be able to come here on Sabre Kauka's short tail, essentially, but very pleased to have the opportunity to come along. One thing that this does is it brings together Kanaka from all over, and so there's that opportunity to kind of get together and spend some time with people that you just don't get that opportunity, and that's important.
It's great. The luau, for instance, the limu kohu comes from the island of Kauai.
Yeah.
The pakai comes from the island of Niihau. The uala will be coming from the island of Molokai. The pua'a will be coming from here. All the brothers are up here doing the pig and cooking the imu. The poke will be done by Hawaiian hands. That's our responsibility. At the same time, the 5 diamond chefs of the Ritz-Carlton are designing a malasadas bar, Kobe ribs. So it's a whole mishmash of good things, creating common ground.
Oh yeah, the one thing that draws us all together.
Yeah.
The good food, the major part of the culture. I've noticed in my traveling, though, that when you get down to the basics of the various cultures, it's not just Hawaii that realize the importance of the nutrition and the food and the social aspects, the cultural aspects of the sharing, and so forth. That's really fantastic here. What would you propose to some of our viewers as an encouragement if they haven't already found their kuleana? What kind of words of encouragement could you give them as to how to move forward? Get off the couch, turn the TV off for a while, and get into something.
I think one of the first methods that were taught to me by Charles Kuupu was know your name and know from whence you came. What is it that associates you with your birth? Was it near Waihe'e? Was it at the lo'i of Waipio? Where do you come from? And then from there, dig a little deeper. And then from there, things will open up for you.
Yeah.
Understand who you are by knowing from where you came. And if it takes reading a book, so be it. Read a book. If it takes learning a hula, so be it. If it takes cooking some food, that's the way to go. But just understand from where you came, then you know who you are.
I think that's a good big answer. I think that's a very
too
good
vague
big
for you?
answer. No. I mean, I actually, was looking for something more specific, but I mean, that's the big answer. And the big answer is looking for who you are, from who you came, from whence you came, and that really dictates what your kuleana is. Because with that DNA comes your commitment, your place in society. I'm a firm believer in our Hawaiian society having specific expertise, and maybe it's a part of the DNA, maybe it's not. But
it's part of the ahupua'a.
Yeah, and if everybody finds their skill that they have to master, that's their commitment, and everybody does it, everything gets covered, and you have a functional society rather than a dysfunction.
Yes, and by doing that, where everyone has their expertise, it's like all different paddlers on the canoe, but you got to paddle together to make the canoe move forward. And that's how the nation can be judged. We may have the 5 best paddlers in the world, but no steersmen.
Yeah. What I thought was really fantastic last night? We went to the Queen's Story.
Yes.
With the paha, with the folks from who are incarcerated here on Maui, and what a moving experience that was. I thought that was great. I know there's a lot of good things going on around Hawaii, but I mean, I don't think anybody has made the same progress, taken it to the level that this program is. Essentially, it was a Queen's story put on by all prisoners who were incarcerated, except for Hokulani was there and some of the musicians, but everybody else. It was very powerful.
There's a very harsh twist on Lili'u's story where they got to share how it felt to be in prison for something they did do.
Right.
And then lament and feel, can imagine how our Queen felt to be in prison for something she did not do.
Yeah, yeah.
And then to feel that vibe, and for them to share, they shared some very heavy stuff with us.
I think the individual testimonies, I'll just say testimonies, were fantastic, because they essentially said, oh, first night in jail, all of their personal thoughts, you know, it's powerful. And then the ones who realize that they've got to do something different the next time around, and they've got to break that cycle.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is the Ohana has got to work with them and support them to get them back on track. So.
Yes. Support groups and the family.
Yeah, the family's where it's at, basically. Yeah. Anyway, I'd like to thank you once again for taking the time. You probably haven't sat down this long for several days.
You're right.
I appreciate it. So we've actually done you a favor by allowing you to take a little breather here.
The shade is nice too.
And the shade is great too. It's a beautiful, beautiful property.
Thank you for coming to Maui, to Kapalua and Honokahua, and to our people.
Mahalo for having us here.
Absolutely.
I'm Kaiopua Fife with the Kiwani Foundation saying mahalo. Come back to us and see our next Voice of Truth one-on-one with Hawaii series appearing weekly throughout the islands. Hui ho.